Hi, everyone. Welcome to day two of the Soul Workshop series. And I see familiar faces here, whether you're joining live with me or watching the replay. No need to be worried about it if you haven't attended day one or haven't watched it yet. We'll get you all caught up and everything builds on top of each other. So, no worries there. But for today, for day two, we're going to be investigating and exploring your superpowers, which is so exciting for me to talk about and help other people uncover. It really helps to channel your focus and figure out what your next steps are when you can identify what you're good at and what you're excited about. So, as a quick reminder, your homework for last session, was to take the Dharma archetype quiz, and so that you can know your main archetypes. There should be two, or if not, you maybe got one main one. As long as you know what they are, you'll be able to plug them into our blueprint that we have today. So I just wanted to remind you of that and make sure you have that with you so you can plug it in when we do our activity today. So today, this is what we're going to be exploring together today. I'm going to introduce you to a few concepts from Still Like an Artist. That is one of my favorite books, and help that in hopes that that can help you identify your style and show you that you are the blueprint. So we'll get into that, and then we'll get into the main chunk of what we'll be doing today, which is why you'll need your journal or something to write with and record and take notes, is designing your soul blueprint. It's going to be specific to you and where you are currently in life right now. So it's going to be something that you can use after as well. So you can build onto that as your purpose evolves. Admit somebody coming in. Hi, Amy. Welcome. We're just getting started. So, yeah, like I mentioned, we're going to be doing the Soul Purpose Blueprint. So, make sure to have your journal on hand and I'll walk you through everything. And then at the end, I'm thinking that will be the first half. And then when we have the second half, we'll get into some live coaching, and we'll do that right after the journaling activity since it'll be fresh in your mind, and maybe that can help bring out some things that you're struggling with or things that you need coaching with. So we'll do that right after that, and then some time for Q&A for my one-on-one offer, Gift Your Gifts, because I revealed that in our last session. It is a way to work with me one-on-one. It's actually the main way to work with me as your soul purpose coach. So I'll go through that again. I'll share the main details of what it all entails, and I'll have a chance for you to share your questions so that you can get them answered and see if it is aligned for you today. So about midway through, we'll have a break and then have that chunk of the time to be a little bit more interactive, and yeah, so we'll dive right into that. And I always love to start my sessions or my workshops, events, with a little bit of a check-in question. So as we go through the workshop today, I really want you to use the chat to interact with one another. And at the end, I'll allow you to unmute yourself and share feedback as well. But today, the question is, how are you doing? Because today, you know, it can be really like overwhelming when you're just going through the motions in your day, and if you don't check in with yourself to ask how you're doing inside, you could be living on autopilot. And so it's a great, simple, yet powerful question to ask. So, how are you doing? In one word, how is your internal weather? If you feel comfortable sharing in the chat, or if not, you can write it in your journal and allow that to come through. And yeah, so Erin says hopeful. I love that. That's beautiful. For me, I'll share for one word that I'm feeling today. is a little bit discombobulated, to be honest, right? We're human. And today I tried going on live today and internet wasn't having it. I was so distracted. And then today I sent the wrong link. So it's, we kind of stumbled into today for me. So thank you all for being here and bearing with me. Alyssa says nervous. Amy says feeling productive. Nice. Denisha says inquisitive. I love that. Nice. And yeah, sometimes identifying and finding the words to express exactly how you're feeling inside and just holding space for that for yourself can be powerful because it allows you a moment to get honest with yourself and trust that that's coming up for a reason. And I want to let you know that this space, this container, is a space where all of you is welcome. So I welcome all the spectrum of emotions that you're feeling today, anything that may come up. Let's try not to judge ourselves, but really be open to expressing ourselves honestly and fully. So yeah, thank you all for sharing and opening up and being a little bit vulnerable with me today. I don't take that lightly, and I really want to, yeah, acknowledge you for being honest with yourself and giving yourself a little bit of a check-in. So I want to do a little bit of a recap of last call for the ones that weren't here, or a little bit of a refresher. Last session, we got clear on your soul desires. We really journaled on what fulfills you, right? We asked that question of when you're alone, what fulfills you? And really getting in touch with your passions and what you want. So now from this space of identifying what it is that you want and what lights you up, we're going to explore your superpowers. And the reason why this is like a good next step is because we can kind of get in our heads, right? When we start to think, actually, this is what I have for the next slide, is you might start to be thinking like, wow, there's so many designers, artists, bloggers, podcasters, the list goes on, right? Once you've identified, oh, this is what I want to do, this is who I am, and start to declare that, you can start to like, your mind starts to make up all of these excuses and your mind floods with a lot of fears, right? And I really resonate with that. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, there isn't enough space for me in this industry or this career path, or there's not enough time for me or enough money in the world, right? I really want to acknowledge that those fears and the the worries and concerns that come up when we start to step into the things that we love are valid. Those fears are valid, but I want to kind of meet that with a question of what exactly is enough, right? Because maybe when we're stuck in the excuses, we don't allow ourselves to move after that. We kind of just remain stuck in those fears and we don't take action on them, right? But I want you to push through those uncomfortable thoughts and feelings and really identify, well, what would it be? What is enough for me? How much time do I really need, right? Getting realistic with that. And pushing through the fears, the initial fears that are coming up, and maybe there's more that start to come in, right? So I want to encourage you to continue using your journal and writing out the fears that come up when you start to slowly unravel your purpose and your passions, because they're bound to come up, right? And so that's what I'm here for too, is to help you to continue taking steps that are in the direction of your purpose instead of remaining stuck in these excuses and the pressure and the external expectations that come with that. And so the question that I have for you today is, what if they were all mirrors or clues to uncovering your style, right? What if all the people that you admire, you love, and all the people that you are witnessing doing what you wish you could be doing are actually just clues in the direction that you need to go, that you're meant to go, right? You're attracted to them and you admire them for a reason. So that's what we're going to be exploring today too. And another question is, what if there was a you-sized shaped hole in the for you to fill in this world? What if there is enough room, right? What if there is an exact gap that you need to fill, that only you can fill in this lifetime, right? That's what your dharma is. That's what your purpose is. It's so much bigger than you. And so that is something to reflect on, and I encourage you to sit with that. See how that feels to reflect on that. So, this is the book that I'm talking about here in this slide, Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. And it was one of the books that I picked up and just intuitive it chose me right when it came out. And I was reading it and it really helped me. It's one of an integral book that helped me in my journey to kind of act on my creative ideas, because he makes it really simple. So he says that you are a remix of what inspires you. We can have the same ideas, but the way you give life to it is unique, right? So this picture here is something that really sticks with me. It's always been burned in my mind of the remix, right? So this is your dad, this is your mom, and this is you. You inherited both of the traits, right? And so if you can kind of see this happening in terms of the people that you admire, your heroes, you are kind of inheriting that, and you are a walking remix of the people that you admire and that you love. So another point to this too is that we could have the same ideas, but the way you are going to act on it and approach it and give it life is going to be different than somebody else. So some of the excuses that we have is, like when we're comparing ourselves, is this is where this comes in, right? That you have a unique background, a unique perspective that only you have, because nobody else has witnessed your life through your eyes. And that is what makes you unique. It's you. It's always been you. So this image is what I want you to walk away with. And it's actually going to be a part of your homework for next session, is that you are part of a creative lineage. You are part of a creative lineage. How powerful is that? So I just wanted to give you this visual here. These are some of my heroes, right? In terms of songwriting and music, these are some of my favorite people. And I used to view it like this. I used to view it as, oh, I will never be like them. You know, I love their music, but I slowly started to convince myself that I don't sound like them, and so that makes me not good enough to be a musician or a songwriter. And now I view it as, well, I was inspired by them for a reason. I'm drawn to these people for a reason, because and I'm the common denominator between all of the my interests, right? So I am pieces of JoJo, of Tori Kelly, of India Ari, and that makes me me, right? Going back to this picture here, all of those are overlapped, and that's what makes me a walking remix of all of them, right? And that is my style. So it's going to be different. It's all pieces of me. So you are a living, breathing, walking combination of all the things you love and people you admire. So not only I'm giving the example of me as a musician, as an artist here, but what else do you love? And how is that a part of your purpose and your dharma? What else do you admire, or what else are you inspired by? And how are you a part of that lineage, right? There's a reason why you're drawn to the certain things that only you love. And it's actually a combination of all of those things that come together to make your style and your flavor, your superpower. Hi, Rosemary, and welcome. And another question I have for you that recently came up for me when I was writing in my journal is, what if you didn't have to try to be yourself? What if living your purpose was easy? You are already you, right? There's no trying in that. You're already there. So this process, this journey of inner work and soul work is not so much about dyeing your hair color to be, look like somebody else, or just putting on clothes or external things to make you feel more you. It's about shedding and releasing the layers and really peeling away the onion to reveal the truth of who you are. And to give you this example, this is me, baby Celeste, already totally expressing myself in this way, as an artist, as a guitarist, as a singer, right? I'm so young and I'm already myself here, right? And that's what I want to leave you with today too, is what if you didn't have to apply pressure or apply force in life? What if it was actually easy, right? And so that's another thing to reflect on, is where are you resisting your natural self? Where are you actually, yeah, resisting what is actually already there? And I want to give you a metaphor too, is it's it's about the seed, right? So I love looking at nature to for guidance and lessons. So thinking about a seed and how inside a seed there's already a tree. The seed is already has all of the ingredients that it needs to be a tree eventually, right? It just needs a little bit of sun, a little bit of water and nourishment, but it's already meant to be a tree when it's a seed. What if you were the same, right? What if you have everything you need inside of you? You just need a little bit of love. You just need a little bit of sun and joy, right? And it's unique to you. Your tree's going to look different. The way you bloom and the way you come into your own and bring things to life is going to be different. So it doesn't need to look like anybody else. You don't need to look far. You just need to look within, right? So I'm here to help you reflect inward and realize and help you realize that you are the blueprint. You don't need to follow anybody else's rules. You're here to create your own. Yeah, with me? Let me know if this is landing for you. We'll get into it, and we'll tailor it to how you're feeling about your blueprint, and we'll talk about it as we move further in today's workshop. Thank you, everyone. Yes. All right. So, are we ready to identify what your style is, what your purpose is, what your superpower is? This is going to be big. There's no going back from here. Once you know it, everything else is going to feel suffocating. And also, as a note, I want you to trust it. Whatever's coming up today, don't overthink it, because there's a reason why things come up. So remain open to whatever comes through today in our journaling practice. Alrighty. So now is the time to get out your journal. First, I'm going to show you what the blueprint is and explain a little bit about it, give you an example, and then we'll plug in your archetypes and then your answers to create this roadmap for you. And I think I mentioned in the beginning that you can come back to this soul purpose blueprint and it as you evolve, it will change with you, right? So you can revisit it and plug in new things, because I'll get into it, but there's a part where you write about what excites you, right? That's going to change over time, over your lifetime. So you can come back and find new inspiration to take you into your next steps, into your and refine your pathway. So the soul purpose blueprint is are the codes to help you unlock your next step. It is the immediate ways your Dharma can manifest. So now we're getting into the action, right? The next steps that you can take to really bring your Dharma, your purpose, to life. All right, so as a little bit of a review here, your Dharma is your soul's purpose, your mission statement, okay? It's your big overarching theme. And then your archetypes are how you approach fulfilling your purpose. Okay, so you should have two main archetypes or one main archetype, and this is your approach, right? So if you listen to the videos after you took the quiz, maybe that sparked something within you to see how your approach to your Dharma is. And your blueprint is your plan to fulfill that purpose at this time. So it's going to help you manifest it into next steps. Alrighty, let me know if you have any questions as we go through, especially if you need clarification on anything. I'm going to break it down simply so we can kind of follow along together. So the blueprint, there is 5 things that make up the blueprint. And I want you to, as we go through this, to leave space for 5 things in your journal so you can kind of write each one, and below you'll write your answers to it, okay? So I'll explain it first, and then I'll walk you through it in the journaling practice, and I'll give us a time to start. So the first being your main Dharma archetypes, so you should know these. Next is the medium that flows naturally through you. So we talked about this in the last session, but this is, I'll give you all of them and then I'll explain them. And the third is what excites you, right? So this can change over time, but what is it that is exciting you right now or intriguing you? What are you curious about? Fourth is the obstacles you've overcome or helped others overcome in your story, right? Is there something that you've overcome or helped others overcome in recent years that you now know a lot about? And then fifth is your superpower. This is your Dharma blueprint. So we're going to journal on this today, and I'll give you some space to do that. But I'll explain each one here. So your archetypes is who you are. So by now you know your main archetypes, but I'll walk you through each of them: teacher, nurturer, visionary, entrepreneur, artist, researcher, entertainer, activist, and warrior. And then 2 is the medium that flows through you, is how source moves through you. So I think I mentioned last session with Amy how, creative ideas are actually entities, they're spirits, and we are vessels to help them come alive, right? In Big Magic, this is what Elizabeth Gilbert talks about. And what medium comes through you naturally? Is it speaking? Is it writing, putting pen to paper? Is it singing? Is it formulating? Is it teaching? What's the medium that flows through you? And third is what excites you is the breadcrumbs to your purpose. So when we follow what's exciting for us, what we're curious about, that is the path that is leading us to our purpose. Because we're meant to be turned on. We're meant to be feeling lit up and feeling good about our purpose. And so that's where that extra joy, that injects that injects it into our purpose and gives us the motivator to keep moving in our path, right? Fourth is the obstacles you've overcome. So this is the best ways that you can serve. Why? Because you know you've gone through it yourself or you've helped others overcome it. So you know how to get through it, right? So I'll use myself as an example. As a coach, I've gone through a whole journey, a whole spiritual awakening, a whole grieving process of the life that I once lived to now birth this new version of me. And I've gone through all of the hard, dark nights of the soul to release all of the fears and the excuses and maybe the conditioning that I've been holding on to that prevented me from really stepping into my purpose. So now that is what I'm here to do. I'm helping I am serving from a place of having gone through it, right? Because I've overcome it. What is that for you? And then fifth, your superpower. It is the source-given talent that you were meant to share. So we were all born with natural born gifts that are inside of us. And maybe you were told when you were growing up, you're so good at drawing, or you're so good at um, you're so athletic, right? What are the things that people noticed about you that made you stand out, in school, or that you looked around and nobody else was good at it too. Those are the things that make you unique, and these unique gifts and talents and abilities are what you're meant to share with the world. And together, all of these things create your soul purpose blueprint, and it gives you a map to where you're going. So this is why I want you to see that you are the blueprint, right? We can look to our heroes and the people that we admire, but they're going to have a different blueprint than you. So this is what is going to help you take that next step. And I'll give you an example by sharing my soul purpose blueprint. So my main archetypes are teacher and entertainer. So this means I love learning and I love helping others find the same or get through the same obstacles, or help others get through the obstacles that they're going through, because I love learning and helping them and serving them in that way. And then the entertainer loves to help and make others feel, right? So that's why I love performing and just sharing art and really tapping into emotions, because I love to help others tap into that for themselves and access lessons that they have within from that angle as well. So the teacher and entertainer, they kind of go hand in hand, but they also provide me different pathways in which my dharma can flow through me in these ways. And for the medium that flows naturally through me, it's writing, it's speaking, and singing. So what I do now as a soul purpose coach and as a musician and songwriter, all of these things I get to do, and they're naturally, I don't have to try, right? Remember, going back to that question is like, you don't have to try to be yourself. So what are you already doing that feels good to you, and it just flows naturally out of you? What is that thing? So for me, it's writing, speaking, and singing. So you can see how coaching comes natural to me. And obviously, writing music and being a musician, singing is something that just I love to do, and it comes naturally to me. And then three, what excites me? Right now, it's music. It's seeing other people's faces light up when they're learning, and they're feeling something when I'm either performing in front of them, or I say something that lights a light bulb in their head, or they get a breakthrough. That is what excites me and lights me up. So I look for little moments like that. And for the obstacles you've overcome and helped others overcome, like I mentioned, I have gone through my own journey of comparison and comparing my body to other people, and having a better relationship with my own body image. And that to be honest, was what held me back in the beginning too, of like, oh, I need to change my body in order to have a photo shoot for my business, and then I'll be worthy enough to have my own business. That was my actual thought process, right? But I'm here to tell you that you don't need fixing. You can show up as you are and live your purpose, right? So that's something that I've overcome, and I'm helping others do the same as well. Grieving, post-grad pains, all of this was kind of overlapped in the same kind of timeline, the season for my life, and finding my purpose. All of that kind of led up to what I'm doing now. And of course, that makes me an expert of about help, or this makes me an expert to help others overcome this as well. And so that's what makes me a good coach, because I have been there and I've gone through those experiences myself. And then my superpower is listening and creating space for others to feel seen and heard. A little bit of a story or something that I thought about recently was when I was in high school, I think, I wrote on my Facebook bio a quote that came to me. I don't think I saw it anywhere. It was just something that I felt like, "Oh, that feels good to say." And, back then I viewed my Facebook bio as kinda like my mission statement for life, and I put, "I want everybody to feel like somebody." And that was when I was so young. I was a teenager back then, but it just felt good to say, like, "That's what I'm here to do. That's what feels good for me, and that's what gives me purpose," right? So, ever since then, I've always felt like I there's this, yeah, like this nurturing aspect to me that wanted to provide a space for everybody to feel like they're somebody, that they are capable too. And so that's always been within me, and I do consider that my superpower. So all of these things gave me a way to look at my life and my purpose and the path that I was going on, to help me realize that, oh, coaching. I can be a coach, a life coach, to help people overcome what I've overcome, and I can do it my way. I can write poetry, I can write captions, right? I can make music that inspires people, right? It all goes hand in hand, and that's how I channel all of this into what I'm doing now, into this next step and this next evolvement of my purpose. So I wanted to give you my blueprint as an example, so you can see living proof of what it looks like, and hopefully it will reveal something for you, and it can be simple too, and your next step. So, are you ready to create your soul blueprint? This is nothing short of amazing and profound, because this is literally why you are here. And so reflecting on these questions allow you to really channel all of that passion and that energy into one course of action right now. Alrighty. So this would be the time to get out your journal, and yes, it's all right here. So I want you to write out these 5 questions, or these 5 points, and underneath, write out your answers. And I'll give you, let's say, 10 minutes for now, and if we need more time, I'll give us more time. But this is the format of what we're going to journal on today. And then after, I'd love for you to share what your archetypes are, what you learned about yourself, and how you kind of see it all coming together into a next step, a next evolvement for you. How does that sound? How are we all feeling with that? I want to see your faces. There we are. Awesome. Alrighty, so I'll put back the slides so that you can have them as reference, and I'll go ahead and put a timer on for 10 minutes, and then I'll check back in with you and let me know if you need more time. Amy says, I love this already. Amazing. Yes, the soul purpose blueprint really enlightened a lot for me. And I'll go ahead and start our timer and put on some music for us. Yeah. Oop.
If you wanna know real feeling, take the time for healing. Moment in the morning for prayer. Begin anew with sunrise. Wipe the dust from your eyes. Be rid of your disguises again. A little for your father, a little for your mother, a little for your sister, a little for your brother, a little love for your soul will make you whole. Looking for protection, learn to read directions, written in the depths of your soul. Remember it. Noonday, sit in peace, meditate. Stillness takes you farther than you know. A little for your father, a little for your mother, a little for your sister, a little for your brother, a little love for your soul will make you whole. If you wanna walk in power, dedicate an hour for the shower of love. Do it in the evening, you will be receiving the peace that you've been leaving behind. A little for your father, a little for your mother, a little for your sister, a little for your brother, a little love for your soul will make you whole. Be rid of your disguises again. 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 The moon don't shine bright like this often. Love pouring out like a faucet, revive it in me. That pain make you cautious. And my shoes, they got mileage. My back on that wall and I'm still standing tall. Cause even in the darkness I can see what's for me is for me. It's mine, it's mine. It's so clear to see. It's so clear to see. I know it's for me, it's for me. It's mine. on the block looking up to me. Made it look good when it was ugly. Dolce and Gabbana, but the trauma still be hunting me. Add a couple commas, lead the whole game comfortably. Know my true to mama, feel like pain and need my company. Said I only make up time for what I want and that's what stuck with me. Hope you see the picture that I'm painting of this money tree. Trying to keep the balance, that's what humble me. I'm feeling godly. I break the chains that confine me. Light live inside me, so even in the darkness I can see what's for me is for me. What's mine is mine. It's so clear to see. It's so clear to see. Yeah, I know what's for me is for me. Blessings to my enemies. I hope that they all can see I'm right where I'm supposed to be, yeah. Yeah. Blessings to my enemies. I hope that they all can see I'm right where I'm supposed to be, yeah. Blessings to my enemies. I just hope they all can see.
About one more song, and then we'll check back in.
I wanna be something great for myself and my family. Came to the States, had a dream, I'm a visionary, will be legendary. Worked hard for days, had no doubt. Now we in a house, and we safe and love. I'll make you proud, make you proud. Without a doubt, without a doubt. I'll make you proud, make you proud. Without a doubt, without a doubt. I'm manifesting the life of my dreams. I do believe. I'm visualizing till my soul's at ease, till my spirit leaves. I take the time to take a breath, I'm in the present moment, spirit's guiding me. I close my eyes to visualize, attract my life, control my mind, be consciously. My soul is guiding me, aligning me, providing me divine energy. The universe is on my side, I'm manifesting what is always meant to be. I listen to my inner guidance, always was so clear, this the path I choose. I put my fears aside, relax and let my spirit lead me to my own truth. I let the universe just take the lead, I'm so relieved and so assured. There's no one in this world that can be you, so you do you the best till you leave. To me, creativity is limitless, fearless, boundless. I create with love, intention, and gratitude. And most importantly, I create to
Okay, how are we feeling? Do we need more time? Are we ready to share? Ready, ready. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I want to invite you, and expressing out loud is really powerful when you share with others what, what you're meant to do. It's a different story when you have it in your journal right in front of you, you write it out, and then you share it. It's almost as if you're declaring it, right? So, I wanna just provide a space for you to share what it is that you've uncovered for yourself in your blueprint out loud with the group. We can go one by one, or if you don't feel like sharing, that's okay too. But yeah, I would love to know your main Dharma archetypes, see what came up for you there, and then also what do you believe is the next step for now looking at your blueprint and seeing how can I channel this into a next step? What are you here to do? What did it reveal for you and for yourself? So I Okay, ready to share? This is a great exercise. Awesome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I hear I think it's Amy. I'm Oh, there.
I wasn't sure if I was on mute or not.
There you go. I see you. I hear you. What did
Awesome.
the blueprint reveal for you today?
Um, so starting with the archetypes when I took the test, I was pretty sure I was going to get the artist just by the questions that it was asking throughout the quiz. And then I also got the nurturer as my second archetype type, which was interesting to me. And I really like it because it resonated with how I am around my friends or my loved ones,
Mm.
and just in general with people I meet. I try to give them a safe space, like a calming energy, and so that also resonated with me. And combined with the artist, I feel like um, that really defines who I am. So that was something really nice to find out and read more about. I had a quick question about what the kapha or like the doshas mean.
Right. Yeah. So the doshas are also like a archetype, a quiz that are, and we all typically have a main one. And
Mhm.
the doshas are kapha, vata, and what's the other one? Pitta. So they're all energies that we embody. So I'll just give you a quick synopsis. Kaphas are earth energy, very nurturing. So I think the nurturer is kapha, the kapha dosha. And pitta is very fire energy, very activated and fluid and moving. Movement, I guess, is the best word I can put it. And then was the other one? Vata is very air. So air signs, kind of like the signs in astrology. So
Yeah.
it's just another way to kind of get to know yourself too. Um, the doshas are your energy, basically. They another way to describe your energy. So yeah, does that clear things up for you a bit?
Yeah, it does. And it also kind of aligns with my big three in astrology, which is funny.
Mhm. That's
Which is air
interesting.
and fire, or not air and fire, air and earth signs. So that
Ooh,
is very interesting.
you're
So
consistent.
yeah, it's very consistent. So that's pretty interesting. And then did you want me to go down the list of questions, or how did you want me to go about it?
Whatever revealed to you, I would love to know if all of it kind of pieces together anything, or yeah, whatever you feel called to share.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, for the second point of what flows through me, as you mentioned in the example you gave, was creative ideas, drawing, painting, also listening. I like to be around, being supportive around friends, so that also came from the second archetype that I was revealed to. And then for the third point, things that excite me, I wrote mostly things that just bring joy to me on a daily basis, which is admiring art, food, finding inspiration, and just finding the beauty around me.
Mm,
Those are things that I look forward to on a daily basis, basically.
yeah.
And then for the fourth point of obstacles I've overcome or helped others overcome, some of these I wrote down, but I feel like are things that I'm still like working through or trying to overcome. For example, like changes, like life changes, also comparison, like you had on your example, stepping out of my comfort zone and also working through being more confident. So
Mhm.
those are things that I feel like it's kind of half I've overcome in situations, but I'm still working on it in others.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's part of your story and kind of like your character development, right? It's what
Mhm.
you're meant to overcome in this life.
Yeah, I like to see life as a movie too. Like you're the main character of your own life and you go through different seasons also as if it was a show and like different characters come in or you go through different stages because it is all like our own stories. So I appreciate that reference too.
Yeah, it's a beautiful outlook on life.
Yeah. And then for the last question or the last point about my superpowers, just tying it all in with the previous things that I wrote above on the other ones was mainly providing a calming energy for others, a nurturing energy, and also helping people um, transform their vision or translate their vision or ideas to something more real or more tangible. That is something that I've been told through some of the design work that I've done or some of the creative work that I've done that I really enjoy.
Yeah, and knowing you too, I really compliment you on your eye for seeing beauty and bringing that to life too. Your photos and your art is amazing. So I really see that in you as well. And my question for you is what you just shared and all of those pieces together, what would you say your purpose is if you can put it into one sentence? Or maybe since you're an illustrator and you visually bring things to life, maybe it's a picture. What do you see your purpose as? What do you visualize it as?
Yeah, I feel like it's very abstract to me still to put it into words, but like just helping people like form their own ideas, creative ideas that they only have like in their head and they tell me, "Oh, you see it too, like you see it in your head too, how I see it." Sometimes it's hard to explain like what exactly you mean or what exactly you want for like a project or a creative idea. So I feel like translating that into something real and something visual is something that I'm really good at for helping others. So if that is working with people, with clients, just on their projects, whether that is their own logos, their branding, or bringing to life their own books or illustrations, I feel like that is something that I enjoy doing. Um, and I love also the variety of it in just not having it like being the same thing every time, just the different projects that I would get to work on and the different people too that I would get to meet. So I
Mm,
feel that that would be my purpose.
wow. That's amazing. And yeah, that's so big and profound that you I feel like you've known though that, being an artist has always been a part of you. But I think we found something beautiful and just kind of reignited and rediscovered the part of the nurture in you. And I
Mhm,
think maybe finding a way to combine those two or finding a place where they overlap is what's going to really create meaning and purpose and impact in your life. So I love how you're already thinking ahead of knowing, okay, bringing people's logos to life or how you're already visualizing how you can do that in your life right now. And so finding little ways and simple ways to do that is probably what's going to bring you so much fulfillment and purpose right now, right?
mhm,
It doesn't need to be this big thing. It can be you can create these moments in all areas of your life. And I wanna encourage you to think about it too, in all areas, not just your clients. How can you
mhm,
bring creative ideas to life with your loved ones. And, like I always talk about this too with my family is like I share my gifts with when it comes Christmas season, right? Like how can you channel that into the different seasons of your life, not just your career, but yeah, just allowing that to continue to flow through you and not limit it to like one thing or one project, right? It's
Yeah,
always how can you let it continue to unravel in all areas of your life and kind of get creative with that.
that's true. That's funny. I also wrote gift giving as something that a medium that flows through me. I think that was the question. Yeah. Because I really love putting together gifts for people that are like specifically like targeted towards that person, and then seeing their reaction is something that excites me. So also finding creative ways of putting together a gift or a little something that will make someone's day.
I love that, and I totally share that passion, that excitement with you because I say that often too, is just creating and curating gifts for people that are specific to them.
Mhm.
That's so beautiful, and that's something that you can do every day or think about when you see strangers on the street even, right? Like how you provide a service by just being you and having the thought process that you have within you and the beliefs and everything that makes you you is part of your purpose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that.
Thanks for sharing, Amy, and I love how yeah, how open you were to the process and just how you allowed it all to come through. I think I wanna share actually, this feels like we're already getting into coaching too, so if anything comes up as we're going around to share our blueprints, I'll we can get into coaching too, so I feel like it's a great space to just open up that too. So, I just want to share with you your main archetypes were nurturer and artist.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I want to share with you kind of like it can be you can use it as a journaling prompt too, or you can affirm yourself and allow your dharma to lead you on the daily. When you wake up in the morning, you can ask yourself this or affirm these thoughts. So for the artist, um, the artist archetype, you either I love writing this on my mirror. I used to have it like I wrote it on my mirror for me, but it's an affirmation and for artists, it's I am here to create blank. So you kind of
Mhm.
allow yourself or your intuition to answer it that day, or you can write it out and continue to affirm that as you move through your day to kind of serve as a reminder. And then for the nurturer, you can write, I am here to support. So you can also combine them too, so that it allows you to see both of them acting together. So I'll say it one more time, you can write it down. The
Mhm.
artist is I am here to create blank, and then nurture is I am here to support blank. So you can allow your purpose to flow through you on any given day with that open statement. See what comes through for you.
Awesome. I like the idea of writing it on the mirror so you see it like visually in front of you.
Yeah, and that way your answer can evolve with you and how you're feeling that day. So
That's
yeah.
true. Thank
I'll give everybody their affirmation once they share your archetypes. So yeah, you do you have anything you need coaching on today, Amy? Anything that we covered on the first day or today, or anything that's come up with for you as we're moving through these concepts and you're moving through your daily life, reflecting on the questions that I've been posing? Is there anything that you need support and guidance on right now?
Just a quick update on the homework from last week that I was gonna do about just making art mine instead of making it for
Yeah.
uh my work or anything else. Um, I was able to just get more inspiration in the last week to work on personal projects. So now I'm planning to This is also related to gift giving, but this is me designing a gift for a friend that's whose birthday is coming up. But
Mm.
I wanted to make something special, like a drawing for them. So I'll be working on that in the
Oh,
next couple of weeks. So hopefully that turns out how I'm envisioning it.
oh my goodness, that's so beautiful. And I want to congratulate you for acting on that, for actually creating space. Because last week you were saying, I don't have time, it's a lot, right? So is there any other block that's coming up or obstacle when, you made the decision to act on your purpose and kind of take these baby steps?
Yeah, I feel like the obstacle, like the main obstacle, is feeling motivated. So having someone to share it with was something exciting. So having this safe space to share it with you guys is also something that keeps me motivated, accountable, and inspired.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's the beauty of having a community or somebody who is also working on, has the same goals of stepping into their purpose. It's beautiful to be able to connect on this level. So I want to congratulate you for acting on it, for sharing it today, going as far as to share it with us. And I want to continue being that source of guidance and also accountability for you. So next week, I want to see if there's any progress that you've made there. And yeah, it's exciting to see you living it out. Denisha says, "Woo, go Amy!"
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you,
we're
Danica.
celebrating each other, and yeah, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for your guidance too, and the affirmations. I'll definitely be implementing those.
Yay, amazing. Thanks for sharing, Amy, and
Yeah,
let me know if you have anything else that you need coaching on, and I'll send resources your way depending on what it is that you need, yeah, coaching on. So, yeah, let us
sounds
know.
good. Thank you.
And yeah, you had something else to say?
No, I was just saying thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so either Rosemary or Denisha have any takeaways, anything exciting that revealed um to you? I'd love for you to share.
I can share about my Dharma archetypes. When I took the quiz, I was surprised to find out my result is nurture and visionary. I think like the nurture part because it comes to me like so naturally that I don't realize that. Like, because I thought it's gonna be like entrepreneur or something. Because like my goal is to become an entrepreneur, but like there are still like limitations. I'm still on my way to figuring it out. And then when the result came out as nurture, I was like, oh. And then also the visionary part, I think it fits me pretty well because I'm the one usually who like doesn't mind taking a little bit of risk just to, like explore new things. Because that's actually like one of my I'll say like what was the third question that you want us to reflect on? I wrote it down as like I like to try out new things and then that oh yeah, I think things that bring you happiness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so trying out new things or like for example going to new restaurants, going to new coffee shop, like exploring that really brings me happiness. And then every time when I find out something new, I want to like, if it's good, I want to share with other people. And then I think also with the medium that comes to me naturally or having conversation with people, establishing the connection, and then also writing, and then also just like researching information. Because for me, I would say I'm pretty like independent because I came to the States when I was 17, and I'm originally from China, so like I have to do like I have to make a lot of like decisions like life decisions by myself, so I like to like research a lot of information and then value the pros and cons before I make a decision. And then I think that is like something that comes to me very naturally, like researching like everything. It can be as small as like oh, like which restaurant we're going to, or as big as like, okay, which university I'm gonna apply to when I was in high school. Yeah. And then I think like my superpowers are like connecting with people and also connecting like people to people, because I really like to introduce like new friends to like my current friends, or like just if they need something and then I know someone who can help them, I would just like introduce them to each other so that they can have some conversations. And then also another one is I'm very positive, so I think this like positive mindset really lift me up through a lot of like difficult situations, because I always think like even though it might be like a struggle or like a challenge right now, is here to teach me something. And then once I go through it, it's kind of like like when you play games you level up when
Yeah.
you solve it. Yeah, yeah. And then also I'm pretty like solution driven. I think that goes hand in hand with my positivity, because like when you're positive you always want to find out solutions to challenges the status quo. And then when you find out like more solutions you want to try them, and then like as you accrue more experience you figure out, oh, this is like something have worked out for me in the past, and then let me just reapply this to the situation. If it doesn't work, let's find out something else. Yeah.
Yeah, hearing you speak, and I see you lighting up just talking about all the things that you're passionate about and identifying what you're good at. What I see is somebody who is so resourceful, so positive, like you were mentioning, is just your outlook on life. We need this, right? So I was thinking about your how you're saying the entrepreneur, you were surprised not to get that, but then when the nurture came up and revealed it to yourself, thinking about how we need this nurturing energy in entrepreneurship, right? So how many entrepreneurs have you seen that are have that caring energy and bring that into their service, right? So this is so needed. What gaps do you see in entrepreneurship and the industries that you want to go into, um, that you can kind of fill those gaps, right?
Mhm.
Um, you can answer that on or take some time to reflect on that to see where that takes you. But yeah, what do you feel like so similar to what I asked Amy is what do you feel like your purpose is now that you've kind of identified your superpowers, what you're good at, what excites you? Is there any common thread between all of those things that you're like, aha, that's what I feel like all of these things can be connected to?
I think it has to do something that you mentioned last time, because I mentioned like I have a lot of interests and there are a lot of like areas that I want to work on. So I feel like definitely like the multi-dimension within me, and also like being very resourceful. And then I really want to like utilize this side of me, and then to see if I can like um use this to like start any business, or just to generate some ideas from it. Because I feel like I know a lot of stuff, and then it's more about like the breadth, not the depth.
Mm.
So like whenever I'm at a like a full-time position or at a professional job, I feel like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. So I'm kind of like taking life as a generalist approach.
Mm.
Yeah. And I'm still like trying to like explore this side of me, and then see how I can, utilize this. So this is maybe somewhere that I might need your help with.
So going deeper into the things that you're passionate about?
I would say it's like how to connect all the things that I'm learning and all the things I know, and then also like my personality wise, how I can like connect all those, and then to utilize that to either like develop a career for myself, or using that as a guidance to help me find like the ideal career.
Yeah, so I think I can share some examples, maybe that can spark something too. I
Mhm.
think last week I mentioned, it sounds like you'd be a really good coach. And there's, a bunch of different coaches and they specialize in what they're good at and what not just necessarily like life coaching, but it can be for business. There can be business coaches, health coaches. And like me, I help with spirituality and creativity infused with life coaching, right? So it's all of those things that make me me, but also they go hand in hand, right? So thinking about maybe like starting a nonprofit, like an organization that brings, like you mentioned, connecting people.
Mhm.
Maybe you host events, and part of it is, remember you were mentioning your love for coffee and food. Maybe you have vendors and you bring in vendors who are that you love, that you admire, like coffee and food, right? Food vendors, and bringing a bunch of the community together to kind of celebrate small businesses that you love. Or like I mentioned last time, blogging or YouTubing, maybe you can start a vlog and just really start to connect with people that way. Um, let's also think about your nurturer and visionary, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so I maybe this can help too. So I'll give you your affirmations and I want you to answer, just fill in the blank, okay? So maybe that can help us point you in a direction. So for the visionary, it's I am here to share. So what is it that you're here to share?
I think I'm here to share a lot of things, like from smaller things as like, like restaurants and coffee shops, and then maybe like bigger things like, like helping people to be aware of their like mental health, because I'm a huge like mental health advocate, and also I study psychology for my undergrad. And I would say like in general it's more like sharing happiness, because like happiness can be found from like small things. It doesn't have to be like major life events, because this actually like remind me of like I used to think, okay, graduating college is something, makes me happy. Getting a new bag, getting a new car, like all those, like big purchase makes me happy. And then I realized, wow, like you don't get those like events or those things, all the time. Like would that stopping you be happy? No, it shouldn't. And then I was like, oh, watching sunset makes me happy, and then brewing coffee makes me happy. And then like I just want to share those with people. So that's actually how I had the idea of maybe like opening coffee shops, and then um also just like tell my friends to, try to find happiness from smaller things, and then just, like find out your like everyday happiness. Yeah.
Yeah, you're here to share happiness and spread joy. And what's unique or what's beautiful is that happiness is unique to you. So when you get to share that and share that vision of what happiness means to you, you attract your people and the people that you're meant to share. So when you're in your happiness, those are the moments in which you are creating
Yeah.
purposeful moments for others as well. So I encourage you to follow that and kind of define what happiness means to you. And what's coming up for me too is when you were when I remember the slide I showed about the creative lineage, the lineage of people that you admire and your heroes. There's this quote that says, um, show me your heroes and I'll tell you who you're going to become. So similar to like the time thing of like show me how where you spend your time and I'll show you what kind of life you're building. It's the same thing of like who do you look up to and what are they doing? And so that's kind of a sneak peek into the homework that I'm going to give you too, of building a list of the people in your creative lineage and what are they doing, because maybe you're not meant to do what they're doing, but maybe you're here to create a whole new career or job or role, or path that only you can create. So there's that visionary coming in of like, you have this vision of all these pieces, and you're meant to pave the path, maybe not follow in other people's footsteps. So I sense something with that, like there might be a something that doesn't even exist yet. So, but the things that the heroes that you look up to might give you some clues into some projects that you can bring your vision to life. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you. I think I just need to do more self-reflection and then like to really reflect on what my heroes are, like doing, and then if there's anything that I want to, like build into my blueprint. Yeah.
And I wanna remind you that being multi-passionate, there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually, I see that as your gift, that you have all these passions and you're really allowing yourself, and I want you to allow yourself to tap into all of those, because there might be uh like a common denominator between all of those things. So continue to explore those and reflect, and I want to remind you that yeah, you're meant to have all of these passions and interests for a reason. And Denisha says, I would go to your coffee shop, Rosemary. I would too.
Thank you. I will let you guys know when I open it. Now I'm trying to find like barista jobs so I can get more like systematic experience with coffee shops, because I've only been like serving coffee to my friends at home, and then like in the background I have a small espresso machine, but it's like blurred out.
Yeah, yeah, I totally see that for you. And that's a great place to connect, right? Coffee shops are beautiful venues and spaces to network with other people. Like people are constantly buzzing with energy of, working from cafes or working from, that creative space. So there's something there too. So that's beautiful. Oh, and I also want to share the nurturer one. I think I think all three of you have a nurturer archetype, main archetype. So the nurturer is, I am here to support blank. So fill in the blank and lead with your intuition, and allow that to unfold with you.
I think it speaks like to me because like one thing that I always say to my friends, I'm always here for you. And then when I say that, I mean it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're meant to support people and care for others, and allow others to feel that caring energy. So I would want to like give you the question and to reflect on, like, who needs support right now. And maybe if we're taking that coffee shop example, what type of person, demographic, what kind of person are you serving? And who needs your support, right? So that can also help you craft your vision for what your business will be, your coffee business.
Thank you, Celeste. I think I'm already connecting the dots because like the question you asked me before is like, sorry, I forgot the question because my mind is racing. I'm like trying to connect the dots, but I feel like the coffee shop is meant to, like support people who is trying to find small happiness in life. Because like I find happiness from coffee. Like it's a small thing, it's just a drink, but it's like a support for yourself, like emotional support sometimes. Because like usually like I drink coffee in the morning and that might be for like the function. And then like later in the afternoon, it's more like, okay, I'm a little bit tired. I need like a little bit like motivation and then need a little bit comfort. And then, okay, coffee is the thing that I go for.
Yeah, yeah, there is, like, coffee is a way to treat yourself and love yourself. And as you were sharing that, I don't know why this came up, but like you mentioned that you love sunsets.
Mhm.
Something about, like how when you watch the sunset, you're just so present. And that little moment, maybe you can capture the essence or the energy of what that means to you and pour it into a cup, or envision that as a business name or a business, or the purpose or mission statement or vision behind your business.
Right. Yeah. That is something I will reflect more on because usually when I'm watching the sunset, it's more like, okay, I'm like mesmerized by the beauty of nature, but that's the good point. There's a reason why I'm so captured by sunset.
Yeah, and chances are other people have that same connection to it too, so you can bring that to life through the way you see it. So, yeah, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing, and I'm excited that you're starting to connect the dots there.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. So, oh, Denisha, do you have anything you want to share or anything that has come up for you? You can share in the chat or unmute yourself. I just want to give you the space to reflect or share anything that comes up for you.
Hi. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. It's so cool that we all got nurture. I got nurturer too. And I also got researcher, which is kind of weird for me because like I don't know how they connect. But I mean, I think I have to do more reflection on that to see how a nurturer and a researcher would connect. But yeah, so like the medium I wrote down was writing and conversation and listening and learning and reading. So like they're kind of um all all over the place, I feel like. But I know that what excites me is when this I got this from last night too, reflecting on our journaling exercises that um I'm most happy and excited when I know that I've made an impact on somebody, or when I get a laugh out of somebody or get them to smile, or being really like truly engaged in a good conversation, you know. um I think that's what kind of makes me happy and excites me. So giving people like hope or just making somebody's day, um I think, yeah, that's kind of, I don't know how to like put that into like what the purpose would be or like what the career would be, but um one of my obstacles was when I lost my job, or at another job I was kind of stuck there, like I couldn't get out, right? Because I'm like having to pay for stuff and support my family and everything. And so the obstacle for me was fear, you know, getting out of being stuck in there, or like starting something new when you have to support people and stuff. So yeah, but I haven't figured out what my superpower is yet. I still feel like your word this earlier, discombobulated. That's kind of how I was feeling when I was journaling. But I think it was a really good exercise to actually sit down and think about this stuff. Um, but yeah, I love getting ideas from you guys, like Rosemary, your idea of the coffee shop and comfort and all of that. I feel the same way. Like I like to provide comfort to people. I guess that's the nurture part. So the researcher part, I'm still, I know that I love that stuff too, but I don't know how I could connect them or combine them.
Yeah. Yeah, with the archetypes, sometimes they go hand in hand and sometimes they are just meant to be activated individually. And so it's sounding like for you, maybe your purpose is wanting to come through in a way that's different than your career, or maybe it's also in incorporating that into the role that you're already playing, or in a role that you're already playing in life, outside of your career, right? Because remember how I mentioned that your dharma, your purpose doesn't have to be your career. It's actually much more than that. It's your calling, it's your greater life purpose, and that evolves over time. It's just that right now, what is it that excites you? And what's really standing out to me is what you shared about what you've overcome. all of us, every single one of us has a message to share. And so what we've gone through, what we've overcome is part of our message, whether you share it through singing, through writing, through um, your main medium that comes naturally through you. It's part of your what needs to be shown and shared. So that's my question is what was your the mediums? Maybe that's something that you can look at right now to see where you can channel this passion and this service for others.
Yeah, I kind of liked what you had on yours about, providing a safe space. And I think one of the questions that in the quiz I clicked on, like, having a nonprofit or something like that. And I think that really, I work for a nonprofit now, and I that always resonated with me, is to have a business that really serves people out there, and just make a difference or an impact. And I think the fear of like starting that, like the business part of it, that's kind of what scares me. Like, I have no idea how to run a business or anything, and I just like to be behind the scenes. Like, I like to be on the ground and do the work, but in terms of like starting it, I that's the part that I think would be a barrier for me, is like doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I want to point out too is we have these gifts that we're meant to do, right? Maybe you have this beautiful vision, but there's parts of it that, that don't come so naturally. And so
Mm-hmm.
this is a lesson to all of us, and also for me as well. Maybe I need to hear this most too, is that just because it's your purpose, it doesn't mean that you're going to be naturally good at all of the components that require it to be brought to life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't it be so boring if we all had, we knew exactly what we were going to do and we're going to do it and we leave the world and that's it, right? It probably leaves like a beautiful legacy, but it doesn't teach us anything. It doesn't allow us to learn. And so that is what Sahara in this book, she
Mm-hmm.
calls your soul curriculum. And this is what I teach my clients as well, is that we have main lessons. I think I also mentioned this to Amy of like, maybe you're meant to get over comparison, or maybe you're meant to go through the obstacles and the journey of starting your business, or bring the people who would be great in integrating them as a team, bring them together, right? Bring in your nurture archetype and gathering a community of people to start this vision. And you're there to birth it, you're the idea, but the way you bring it to life is actually bringing the connections that you have and laughing with them when you're in meetings together, and you know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily like the dreams that come to us, the creative ideas that choose us, um, are meant to kind of have these main lessons to teach us what we need to do or to learn in order to grow and
Mm-hmm.
allow us to evolve and develop, like we were mentioning with Amy and our character development. This is how we are meant to develop. So the obstacles and the fears that are placed along our journey to our purpose are there for a reason too. So
Mm-hmm. True.
I just
Yeah.
felt like that reminder is something that can resonate with you specifically, because um it's sounding like you can find purpose outside of the career as well.
Yes, thank you. That helps a lot.
Amazing. Yes, and thank you all for sharing your archetypes and just bouncing ideas off of each other. We're kind of helping and serving each other with sharing what we're going through, what fears are coming up for us. It helps us feel less alone when we have others that are also relating and resonating with, the blocks that we have. So I want to congratulate you all and celebrate you for actually doing the work. Like, imagine all the people out there who have the same, like, similar gifts too, but they're just distracted and not acting like you are and investing your time, creating this space for you to actually start to serve, use your gifts in service for humanity. That's huge, right? You're here doing that, and I want to celebrate you for doing that. So you're doing it one step at a time. Yay! So we have a few more minutes. Is everybody feeling okay? Do we need a little break? I think the next thing we're going to hop into is just homework for our next session. And if anybody has any last coaching guidance that they need, and then our Q&A, just a short little Q&A on the one-on-one offer that I am inviting you all to join me on as we move into a new month. So are we all doing okay? Do we need a break?
I'm doing good.
I'm okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yes, Rosemary. Thanks for reminding me to hydrate.
I love your water bottle.
Thank you. Yes, it's from Target. Blagalates.
Color's really nice. Looks
And
very refreshing.
it's huge too. Look at it. I only have to fill it once. All right. So I'm going to bring back up the slides. Share. So I can share the homework with you for our next session next week. Okay. Can you see my screen, everyone? Yes. Okay. So your soul work for next session, just a next step for you all, and in addition to the individual homework that you have, is identifying 3 people you're inspired by and start to create your creative lineage, right? So it could be helpful for you to write it out as like either a family tree or like an actual timeline of people in your life that you're inspired by. But I want you to bring this to our next session so that you have, you can actually visualize all of the people, like you are a part of this lineage of people that you're inspired by. So the questions that I have for you, I'll also email this to you so that you have the prompts at the bottom here. But to help guide you in choosing and discovering these people in your life, you can reflect on these questions. So who are you inspired by? And I want to encourage you to choose people that, that are doing what you wish you could be doing, or you admire. And from a place of inspiration, not so much comparison, right? So like, remember how I mentioned the 2 lens I used to look at my creative lineage of, I used to compare myself so much to the people that I loved or the singers that I admired that it slowly I convinced myself that I wasn't good enough. So I never pursued it until now, right? And so I see it from this new lens of, oh, they're actually ushering me closer into who I'm meant to be, because I'm a remix of all of them, right? So remember, you're a walking remix of these people. What do they do? Start to write all of these things down, because they're going to give you clues and ideas of what you could be doing. And maybe it's a combination, right? So just trust it, write it all out. If you're bringing random people from different parts of your life and areas and industries you're passionate about, maybe that's for a reason, right? So trust the unfolding of this process as you're gathering your inspiration. What kinds of life are they living, right? Go a step deeper and start to see and notice how they live their life. How do they spend their time? How do they show up? Right? Remember, this can give you clues on the mediums that you're meant to channel your purpose through, right? Maybe they're podcasters, or maybe they're YouTubers, or maybe their main way of showing up is through like open mics, and they go up and do slam poetry. Follow the clues and the joy signs. So I just want to clarify what joy signs are. I use this term with my clients, and it basically just means follow what lights you up, follow your joy, and that will never leave you, and that will never lead you to the wrong path, because your joy, remember how I was mentioning that that is the things that you're excited about is the breadcrumbs to your purpose, right? That's the path you're meant to go. So if it feels draining to you, or if it feels, like more obligating, right? That that is a sign to kind of tweak it and adjust the direction and start to follow the joy, right? So when you're gathering all of these people, follow the clues that are coming up for you as you create this lineage. And the main point I want you to walk away with is for you to build the belief that, hey, I'm a part of this lineage. I get to build upon what the legacy that these people have already created, right? You're there to pass on and share your version of that creativity that's coming through you. So, is there any questions before I move on the homework? I will make sure to share all of this in our I'll email this to you so that you have that written out for you. And I'll also send a reminder before our next session so you can have this. But and I want to encourage you to also get creative with it, right? You can maybe create a video. You can create, like for Amy, you can design an illustration, or a vision board, even like cut out pictures and put it on a board and frame it and put it in front of your bed, so when you wake up, or in front of your mirror, right, you see that, and it's a way to remind you and inspire you to continue that legacy. So yeah, there's
I like that.
yeah. So I encourage you to get creative with it. And yeah, instead of, looking at a piece of paper and, it being tucked away in your journal, I want it to serve as a symbol, as a reminder. So get creative with it. I've had clients make their own superhero poster and like put their face on it and like design what they would look like and how they would, express themselves if they were they were a living superhero of their superpowers, right? So get creative with it. That's just an idea, and that's something I like to encourage my clients to do, and start to think outside of the box. So let me know if you have any questions for this, but this is your homework for next session so that we can continue on this work and start to embody that, because next session, our last session together, is going to be all about embodiment and actually embodying and starting to share that out into the world. So we've done a lot of reflection and, self-inquiry, self-study, and, a lot of inner work, turning inward. But I want to encourage to nudge you a little bit and start to share that out into the world. So that's something to look forward to for our next session together. All right, so next, we already got through some coaching. The last thing I wanted to do is have a short little Q&A for us to discuss and talk about my offer, my invitation to you all of our Soulwork students here today, and who are watching on the replay. You all get access to an enrollment bonus into my one-on-one program, my 3-month coaching program, Gift Your Gifts. So if we revealed that in our last session on day 1, and also I sent over it in the email, with our recap. But this is the bonus that you will be receiving into the offer, and it will be expiring on May 31st. So a week from today, at 11:59 p.m. This offer will expire. So only exclusive to my Soul Workshop students, I am offering a 222 discount into the program, and it is typically $17.97, but you can get it at $15.75 with this discount, and it's going to be the lowest price it will ever be because I'm also going to be raising it in June. So I want to give you guys this this incentive, this discount, because you're so invested already into the soul work, and it shows me that you're serious about investing your energy, and actually you're showing interest in desiring a life of purpose, right? Since you've made it this far and you're staying this long into the workshop, I know that you are serious about this. So a little bit about the Gift Your Gifts program. It is a 3-month program. Originally, it was 1 month, but I realized that, they're working long term with a life coach um, is so powerful, because you have me in your corner for a long term, because there's so many roadblocks like we've been talking about with the whole journey of stepping into your purpose, and it's going to continue to bring up wounds and fears and anxieties about the future. So I help you every week go through and really start to study what the beliefs that you hold inside, and start to question and challenge those beliefs. Because if we don't investigate our thoughts, our self-talk, our self-dialogue, and what our brain feeds us, and we just take them as true, as belief, we're going to slowly convince ourselves that we're not worthy enough, or we're going to give in to the excuses. And I want you to start to operate and start to make decisions through your heart. Okay, so that is why I designed this program, because I I saw that, during my journey and the clients that I've been working with, that the expectations that we place on ourselves as women, as women of color even, it the the expectations that we put on ourselves and the opportunities that we have access to, they there are barriers that we need to get through, and like just even imposter syndrome is going to operate and show up differently in women of color because of cultural expectations. And that's what we get into, and that's what I've experienced as well. So I really want to create a space for um, women who are going through the career search, or post grad life, after graduating, these new beginnings that, you're transitioning and dealing with a lot of change in your life. I want to help bridge you into the ideal life you want to live, and lead you into a space where you feel like you are using your gifts and operating in your purpose zone, right? So we've learned so much about your purpose, and it's hard to have this inner knowing that you're meant to do this and totally ignore it or prioritize other things, right? So this is a space for you to actually create time and dedicated space every single week to pour your energy into a project. And so that's exactly what we'll be doing inside this container, is working on your own purpose project. And at the end of the container, I invite only people who are in Gift Your Gifts. So my Gift Your Gift students have a end of the container showcase. So this is something that I designed because I want to nudge you to further embody your purpose and share it out with the world, right? That's why I named it Gift Your Gifts, because your gifts aren't just meant to be kept inside. You're meant to share them. And there are people out in the world that need your gifts, that are meant to, that you can help and impact, because nobody has your eyes and your hearts and your hands. So I'm here to help you get through all of the shit that your brain feeds you, and the excuses and the barriers that we have in life, so that you can start to operate from your creativity and your gifts. So that is why we have a end of the container showcase that is only for my Gift Your Gift students, so that you can share your purpose project at the end of 3 months of working together. So that is what I am inviting you here to do, and join in with me. So after sharing a little bit about my offer, Gift Your Gifts, and the program, I want to create a space for you to, if there's any questions that are coming up for you, um, like logistical questions, or, questions that are more geared towards, how can you help me specifically? Um, Let me know, because you have me here, and I want to make sure that, I can tailor these these the questions to you, and what you may need in your specific season in your life. And yeah, just to you can have this moment to reflect on how your life can look in 3 months of working with your own soul purpose coach. So I posted these questions here. Let me know if there's any other questions that you have, but I can't see your faces right now, so I'm gonna stop sharing for now. There we go. um There we go. Okay, I see you all now. Do we have any questions regarding the working one-on-one with me, or yeah, any other questions that are coming up regarding the concepts too? Because um, I just want to mention that coaching, one-on-one coaching, is very customizable. So I tailor my coaching to based on every single student. So your results, your transformation is going to look different than, you know, uh, um, it's going to look different than the other students, and because your purpose is so unique, your situation is so unique. So I just wanted to mention that what you bring to me is unique to you. And that's how we go about coaching: is you bring me your goals and your desired transformations, and we work to create progress and accountability towards getting there, and inside this container. So yeah, do we have any questions? Feel free to put them in the chat or unmute yourself.
I think I was gonna ask more, but it was already on the list of questions on your FAQ. Is what a session would look like, or the energetic investment. I think that's what it said for those.
Yes. Yeah, good memory.
Mhm.
I'll pull that up for us after. So what the sessions look like: each session, I give us about an hour and a half window to meet weekly. And I also offer, for my local students, in-person sessions, if that's something you're interested in. Denisha says, oh, she has to log off. All right, see you next week, Denisha. Thank you. Yes, and so the sessions are are going to be either virtual or in person, depending on what you prefer. And inside the sessions, we basically have, like, how I've been structuring our workshops is having a moment of reflection and mindfulness, whether that's a check-in question, just based on how we're feeling, right? So I want to provide a space for you to kind of gauge where you're at on any given day. And then we start to go into self-awareness and self reflecting and self-study. So I just am asking you questions, getting curious, investigating the beliefs that you have, oh, I'm sorry, that was Rosemary who was leaving, huh? All right. Yeah, we get into a kind of I like to call this like putting on our curiosity caps, and we start to look at our lives from kind of a bigger, or we zoom out of our lives and start to question and investigate. And it's kind of the methodology I have of investigating and activating, right? So in order to create change, we need to build that awareness, which you've already done so much work around inside this workshop, and then starting to investigate further on what needs to come down, what needs to shed, what layers are no longer serving you in the goals that you want to achieve and the desired transformation in the person you want to become. So all of that takes time to start to release. And we do that through inquiry, right? So I give you questions to reflect on in person in our sessions, but also I offer workbooks so that you can continue to reflect on your own time when we're not in session as well. And then we typically end and close off the session with a closing like meditation, or depending on what we're exploring that day, of kind of where we're at now. So we kind of rate in the beginning with that self check-in, and then we kind of have like a checkout of like, okay, where can we apply our next steps and take action on for next session, so that we can continue to make progress and kind of track it that way. So those are what the sessions look like. And for the investment, the energetic investment, it is $1,797. And we have payment plans available as well. But since you are a Soul Workshop student, everybody who RSVP'd and registered for this workshop series has that discount available until May 31st, next week, at yeah, so that discount expires if you want to take advantage of that. And we also have payment plans available for that as well, and we can customize it based on your needs. Right now it's a three payment plan, which brings you down to $599. And if you decide to do I'm bringing out my calculator because I'm not a numbers person. The 3-month payment plan would bring you down to $525 payments. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. All right. Does anybody else have any questions regarding the Gift Your Gifts program and coaching? Let me check the chat. All right. And if you're watching
Sorry. I just had a quick general question in terms of just coaching and to get your perspective or your experience on how to find balance with your projects in your life, and any advice that you have on that area.
I want to ask you a question first, if you don't mind. What does balance mean to you?
Balance means to me is being able to do everything that you need to do in a day, I guess, or in the span of a certain amount of time. Whether that is resting or working on a project or socializing, all the combination of things that we need as humans.
Yeah, and that is a challenge that we have, and that's a challenge that I came up against as well, of finding the time and the space to do it all, right? What I would say to that is everybody has a different definition of what balance looks like, but we all do have the same amount of hours in the day, and what we need is like hydration, food, sleep, right? And also connection and socialization. But I would say when it comes to finding balance, I don't think there is a perfect balance to anything. And every day is going to look different because our needs change, right? Like right now, I'm on my period and I need more rest, but I prioritized showing up today because it's something that I set out to do. I set that goal for myself to show up. So and with that in mind, I kind of designed my week, my day around knowing, okay, I'm going to show up big here and I want to pour all my passion and energy into this because I know it's part of my purpose and I'm serving others in this workshop. So I kind of create space for me to rest outside of that, knowing that this takes a lot of energy, not scheduling a lot of social events and asking myself first what is required of me, right? Do I actually need to rest? What do I need on that given day, right? So maybe it's not about doing it all, but it's just about doing, remember that quote of, maybe it's more about doing more of what lights you up so that can be the fuel, the motivator, right? But was it you that mentioned that one of the big things is that you struggle with is the motivation?
I do.
Yeah, so when it comes to that, it's like when you do more of what lights you up, that actually gives you the energy to do it all per se.
Yeah.
And so I think what you can ask is not how do I balance it all, but more of what is required me of now and what do I actually want to prioritize and how can I design my life and my days around that. And I think a cool activity that you can do is if you can draw like a pie chart and start to collect all of the things that you want to pour your energy into, right? And divide it up and start to design your life around all of that so you can see where your energy is going. That's the ideal, but I want you to also see where is your energy going right now? And does it need to go in these places? So that you can start to see, okay, here's where I am right now, but here's where I want to be. So you can start to close the gap and make adjustments where needed. Um, because also life happens and things come up too, right? So I like to believe that what's coming up is happening for a reason. So if something's taking up a lot of your time that is draining you, oh, no worries, Denisha. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next week. So starting to think about what you want to prioritize, what you want is going to be super powerful because you can start to design it and create from there. So does that help or how does that feel when I'm designing your life? Is that something new that a new concept to you, or are you already kind of working towards that?
I like it. I like that it's more taking into account not just what is expected of you, but what you feel is right where you need for your energy. So I like that perspective into like first evaluating what you're currently doing and then going from there into what you actually want to do or need to do to
Yeah,
align better.
definitely. So start to record where your time is going, but also start to pay attention how you show up in your energy and all of those things. So when you show up and you record, okay, I'm going to work from 1 to 5 today, I want you to reflect on how your energy is. Is it lighting you up? Is it making you feel expansive or is it draining your energy? So then you can start to say, okay, well, if it's draining my energy, I need to fit in on this day something that's going to fill my cup, right? And it could be going out in nature or remember creating something so that you can find and have that for yourself, right? A moment of solitude if that's what you need. So you can start to evaluate where your time is going and where your energy, how it feels to you, because that's even more important. Time is an illusion. Time, it does not exist. If
Time
you,
is relative.
right? So if you start to reframe those thoughts and think and operate your life from that point of view, I think you'll know where to go from there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all of the great recommendations from the vision board to getting creative with homework and to just really evaluating those things. It's all super helpful, so I appreciate it.
Ooh, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that resonates with you. And thank you for showing up and staying all the way through. I think it's going to really pay off that you're getting curious about it, you're getting help, you're asking for help, you're taking action where you have the control to. So I want to, because last thing I'll share is that inner work. Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all this inner work, but I have nothing to show for it, right? But if you,
Mhm.
when you start from within, it can kind of feel a little discouraging when, there's no product, there's no end product or goal when it comes to inner work. It's getting to a place of happiness and fulfillment,
Mhm.
right? So I want to remind you that those moments, celebrate those when you have the aha moments or the moments that are going to continue to propel you forward, those exciting, um, little sparkly ideas or moments are going to be super propelling for you in this path of your purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy, for showing up today and showing up for yourself. Thank you all for being here for day 2 of the Soul Workshop series. Next week is our last workshop in the series. So I'm going to send you your homework over email and we'll go from there. So thank you all for joining me and I'll see you next week. Bye.